Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear honorable speakers and special guests, and all the participants, welcome to your most expected research idea series. I'm your host, Billah, a research ambassador of Gobeshok Hoteche, and I'm from Nanjing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics, China. Before we get into today's webinar, let me briefly introduce about our platform, Gobeshok Hoteche, Be Researcher BD. Gobeshok Hoteche, Be Researcher BD is a research-based online non-profit open platform directed by some world-class scholars. Our scholars are working tirelessly to promote guidance research guidance for researchers nationally and internationally. And also, its vision is to leverage research in higher educational institutes for sustainable development all over the world. Now, this remarkable effort has been initiated by Mr. Sabir Hossain. Currently, he is working as an assistant professor at the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Chittagong University of Engineering and Technology. So, as we know that universities are the places for knowledge creation, development, and dissemination. However, universities are going in a traditional way. Only in final years, students do their theses or projects for their graduation. But research and publication at sophomore or junior year, it's rare. Mr. Sabir Hossain walked in a different path. By his effort, students of second year from his department, computer science and engineering, have published more than 10 articles in international conferences and journals. This type of accomplishment is rare. So, being perplexed by this achievement, he has created this platform to divert this enthusiasm among all the students who are interested in higher studies. This platform is assisting researchers by sharing research related resources like books, papers, website, contents, online courses, arranging seminars, webinars, supervisions, and arranging internship opportunities, and so on. Previously, we have conducted the country's first free, complete online training on how to become a researcher. And this covers basic concept, tools, and techniques required to become a researcher from scratch, and which is a big success, viewed over 27,000 only in 9 months. And guys, links are in the description below. And previous month and the last month on 31st March 2021. So Gobeshok Hoteche has started the most demanding online free course, Python for Research. So now for today's lecture, our topic is how to avoid paper rejection and address reviewers' comments critically and successfully. And our speaker is Honorable Professor Dr. Saidur Rahman from Samannay University, Malaysia. Our honorable teacher is currently working as a distinguished research professor at the head of the Research Center for Nanomaterials and Engineering Technology at Samannay University. He is also working with Lancaster University as a food professor. Previously, he worked as a chair professor at the Center of Research Excellence in Renewable Energy at King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, Saudi Arabia. So prior to joining King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, Professor Saidur Rahman worked 18 years in University of Malaya. He worked as Distinguished Visiting Research Professor at American University of Ras Al Khaimah, United Arab Emirates. He graduated from Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology in 1997 from the Department of Mechanical Engineering and completed his both master and PhD university from Malaysia. So it is worth of mentioning that Clarivate Analytics Thomson Recruiters awarded him highly cited researcher for being among the top 1% researcher for the most cited documents in his research field for the 6 consecutive years from 2014 to 2020. He also achieved the highest accumulation citation from University of Malaya. So from 2011 and 2014, in 2019, Professor Sahidur Rahman sir won the Vice Chancellor Award for Achievement in Research, Sunway University. And our teacher, by far now, almost published 500 journal papers, mostly in high-ranking, top-ranking, high-impact journals. He is ranked #1 by Web of Science of Nanofluids research-related topic. He has more than 40,000 citations with an H-index of 98 according to Google Scholar citation. Professor Saad Rahman presented a series of publications talking on writing high-impact journal papers locally and internationally. He has supervised more than 80 postgraduate students so far and has secured managed more than 15 million ringgit Malaysian research grants. Professor Saad Rahman is working in the area of emerging nanomaterials and their application in energy storage, heat transfer, and solar energy harvesting. Despite being such a great scholar, Sir is humble and helpful. He is also the advisor of our group Gobeshok Researcher BD. He has also conducted a total video on higher studies in overseas. And the video is all about opportunities, preparation, and challenges. Currently, Sir is guiding enormous students across the world. And guys, now we'll begin our today's session. But before that, there will be a question answering session after the lecture. So don't forget to leave your questions in the comment box in the description below. And so no more further delays. Let's get right into our Professor Dr. Sahidur Rahman, sir. Sir, platform is yours.
Thank you very much, Samannay. Thank you, Sabir, for organizing this event and also for the introduction. Okay, assalamu alaikum and hello. Let me start slowly. So as you can see the title, basically how we can avoid rejection rate, improve further, and we also can address reviewer comments critically, successfully, because if we cannot address these comments critically, professionally, successfully, there will be again rejection. So as Samannay mentioned, I have quite good experience in supervision, publishing high impact journals. So basically, I have enough experience to share with you so that rejection cannot be avoided completely, but this can be improved up to certain level. Okay, that is basically the idea how we can reduce rejection rate and we can address reviewer comments in a better way so that your success rate is higher. Okay, and what are the key elements that will make your paper rejected? Okay, there are many factors, major factors, minor factors, language factors, many things. So I will give more highlight or more focus where the comments that will make your paper rejected. Okay, the comments that will make that you need to address seriously, basically. Okay, so let me move slowly. Before moving, I also would like to introduce a little bit about our university. This is a private university, small university with 8,000 students, but highly promising and potential institute. This is the reason also I joined in this university. So there are 63 academic programs, 7 academic schools. So I'm in School of Engineering and Technology. Most importantly, there are 17 research centers. As you have seen, I am leading the research center for nanomaterials and energy technology. And also this university is a not-for-profit. Actually, it is a foundation, as you can see, Jeffrey Chia Foundation. Through this, basically, this fund our research and many other activities also. So this is basically the one of the good things, unique things. As a result, we have enough sufficient funding support for research, even though it is a private university. Because the goal or mission of this founder, Jeffrey Chia, who want to make quality research. So maybe after 100 years, he want to make this Sano University, Harvard of East or Cambridge. So he's laying the foundation to make it world-class university. So this is the reason I'm in this university, and also we established this research center for nanomaterials and energy technology. This is also the unique spot, tourist spot. Many tourists come and visit this university. This area, as you can see, there is a Samannay pyramid. It is well connected with the whole all Malaysian cities. As you can see, buses, train, LRT, BRT. It's well connected with all over the Malaysia. I'm staying in the neighboring area, and I feel very comfortable staying in this neighboring area. So hospitals, shopping malls, everything in the neighboring areas. And also, most importantly, we also have some recognitions, as you can see. So when situation improves, COVID is eliminated, I welcome you to visit this tourist spot and also our university, Sano University. There are also Samannay College, Samannay International School. So recently I saw a news that one of the students from Samannay College actually get the chances in 4 top universities like Harvard, Cambridge, even MIT. I don't remember exactly, but 4 top universities who is basically from Samannay College. We also have Samannay International School. So we have everything here in this campus. So we have international school, college, university. So basically, this is, I welcome some of you, your friends, relatives. It's a private university. Its quality is very high. It is a very good place, conducive environment. You can grow, multinational, international culture here. So overall, it is a good place. So I would like to strongly recommend your friends, your brothers, sisters who are intended to pursue international study in school, colleges, and universities. Okay, so now I'm moving towards our main topic. So we know that our topic is rejection. So it is whether is it really good or bad. Normally rejections are not liked. We don't like it. We don't appreciate it. But we also cannot avoid it, right? This is part of our life. So now we are talking about the rejection of a paper. Sometimes we apply for jobs, so we are also rejected. Okay, sometimes we apply for some donation, we also get rejected, right? So rejection is basically sometimes we require something to some of our friends, relatives, and so on. And at the end, sometimes we get and sometimes we don't get it, right? So basically, yes or no, accepted or rejected. So we cannot run away with the rejection. Okay, so that's why I say it is part of our life. So since it is part of our life, so we need to know, we need to learn how to manage it, how to avoid it, how to reduce it, how we can avoid this. Okay, so I'm not sure whether it is good or bad, but I will give you the answer here. So you know that if there is no failure, if there is no rejection, we may not probably attempt to improve. So that's why I feel it is a stair to make us success. Okay, so it is a pillar of success, because without being failure, you cannot be successful. You know that our children, maybe your brother or your friend's son or daughter, you see that when started to walk, how many times they fall down, right? So several times they fall down, and then only after maybe 1 month, 2 months, children become successful to work. Okay, so this is again the failure will make someone how to tackle that failure. So to me, it is a pillar of success. It is basically not failure. It is actually step to improve you further, to improve it further, to make it stronger, to make it better. Because you know why it is rejected, there might have some reasons. Okay, some of the weaknesses are there, some of the points are wrong, some of the points are not addressed properly, appropriately. So if you address them further, if you improve them further, and in the next stage, in the second stage, yes, there are possibilities that it can be improved because you have addressed the point. Okay, so basically it is not that bad things. It is basically, in my view, in a keyword that will make you stronger, better. Basically, it will help you to improve. So that's why don't take it as a negatively, take it positively, so that you can address professionally, correctly, ethically, critically, and at the end you become successful. Okay. So what also I suggest that as a researcher, you make your mindset that rejection is part of our life. So it is bread and butter. So now any paper is rejected, I don't feel it is in any boring or anything sad or anything upset, unless if comments are erroneous, comments are really not professional, reviewers are really not giving constructive comments. If we feel that these reviewers are they're not professional, they give wrong comments, then we feel upset. But definitely we are going to defend in that way. So I'm now already familiar. The doctor, they sometimes do the surgery. So it becomes their bread and butter. So, to cut the human body to make surgery, it's nothing. It's a normal for them, right? So basically what I suggest, you have to be familiar. You have to change your mindset that this is part of our life. So because of that, we have to stop doing the work. We have to stop eating. We have to stop sleeping. We have to stop further working on the paper, master's thesis, PhD thesis. No, you should not do that. You should accept it, and you should have mindset that, yes, I'm going to improve it further. Okay, so I hope you got the point. And also, if you want to be a good researcher, I always put this keyword that you need to be steadfast. Okay, you need to bear patience and never give up. Okay, so as you have seen, I have 500 papers, 600 papers, sometimes papers are rejected in journal A, B, and C, and at the end it is published maybe in 7th trial. So now none of the papers remain unpublished. So if because of one rejection, if I would not improve it, if I would not work it, so today I can't come up to this level. Okay, so that's why I think the keywords are, I think it's not only for researcher to be successful in any career, in any of your life. Actually, these are very important things. It's also important in our Quran, also in our religions. Also, we learn the sabr, patience, bear patience. This is the month of Ramadan. This is the month of patience. So we don't eat. So whole day we don't eat. So what we are doing, we are making patience. We are making sabr in the whole day. We are not eating. At the end there is a reward. Okay, reward for in this dunya and also the day hereafter. So this is very important for your. This is also sometimes to reduce your anger, not to be reactive with some of your friends, relatives. Sometimes maybe they are scolding you. So if you bear patience, if you are steadfast, this will help you to overcome some of the challenges. It's religious matter. It's also your practical, real life problems and so on. So that's why I think these are the keyword. Is very important for your life. So I start in a way that's same like when you write a paper. So some of the things you will find similarities that I gave the other presentation, but I try to link it with why papers are rejected. So we have a title, right? So because of title, basically paper will not be rejected. So what is the intention? Intention is to highlight that the comments can be reduced so that you write a title in such a way that reviewers cannot make comments that you need to address further. Okay, so this is idea is to reduce the amount of comments in title. So what's that the comments normally will make made by the reviewer? Normally, sometimes title is too long. It is not attractive. Normal practice is title should be something like less than 15 words. Okay, so not too long. So if you put some certain limit of word, as I mentioned, 12 word or 15 word. I think this will be much more appropriate. And sometimes if it is also long title, you put so many subtitles, you put there some jargon, and only you understand, nobody can understand. So I think these are the things will be, as a result, there will be comments by the editors, by the reviewers, but this will not make your paper rejected. Does not reflect the content. I think this is important thing. This content is very important. So since you are writing the paper, you know the whole content of the paper. Sometimes without thinking, you try to bring each and everything, those which are not basically the real content of your paper. So that's why to write a title, I suggest to come out with some keyword, 8 to 10 keywords, and then you eliminate weak keywords. Just keep the strong keyword, and then you join them to form a title. So that basically will reflect the content of your whole content, because you brought the keyword based on your whole content. And also once you have written the draft title, you discuss with other group members, supervisors, collaborators, and you ask yourself, does my title reflect the content? Is it too long? Is it attractive, or is it full of jargon, chemical formula that will distract the reading, further reading? So sometimes you ask yourself, okay, you make some checklist, as I have given some of the talks available in the YouTube. So you listen all those videos, watch each and every details over there also, and then you check whether this title is enough, strong, attractive or not. Formula, abbreviation, jargon, this always should be avoided in the title as much as possible to make it title stronger and better, so that there will be no comments for the title. So if you address all these points, basically there will be no major point. Sometimes maybe some emotive terms you put in the, but I think that is in abstract, not in the title. Okay, then abstract. So what are the comments basically will be made by the reviewer and editors? It may not be not structured, not balanced, does not contain major results and findings, emotive terms. So abstract is basically summary that should contain some background information, objectives, methods, result discussion, conclusions, and so on. So each of the component should have some information, maybe 1 or 2 sentences, as you can see. So this will make you structure. Structure meaning that there should have some content on background, some content on objectives, some content on methods, some contents on result and discussions, and some contents on conclusion. So this is called structure. And balance meaning is that you put each and everything only result and discussion. So you did not put background, you did not put objectives, you did not put method, you did not put conclusion. So then it is imbalanced. Okay, so reviewer will make comments that some of the components are not balanced. Some of the components of your abstract is missing. Okay, so you address all those points. And definitely because of abstract, it will not be rejected. But there are bad reviewer, very poor reviewer in one instance because of abstract our paper were rejected. So actually these are very bad. These reviewers are not professional. Sometimes it happens. But again, all these things you can write to the directly editor-in-chief. So in one aspect, I will show you how to address this unprofessional behavior of the reviewers and editors. Sometimes maybe you put the emotive terms such as significant, huge. We are scientists, we are researchers, so we need to put exact value. For example, as you can see here, 95%, 10 kilowatt hour, okay, 10 degrees centigrade. Okay, so you put the exact value or percentage, 10% improvement, rather than putting huge, significant, because these are statistical terms. So these are scientifically not strongly encouraged. So these are called the emotive terms. So let's write the abstract in a structured way, in a balanced way, put some major results, findings, and don't put emotive terms. So these are the normally most important things that is needed in the abstract. So if these are missing, reviewer will ask you to address these things. Then introduction. Actually, introduction is basically aim, purpose, why your work is necessary. So since it is a little bit more longer, so I put a lot of information that will make these are the comments basically will be made by editors and reviewers. Okay, sometimes, and most importantly, there is no clear-cut novelty. So if you want to be a good researcher, if you want to publish in good journal, so this is very important. So in original paper writing, basically I have given a lot of emphasis on this novelty. So here also, I'm emphasizing you need to address this novelty. Without novelty, it will be very hard for you to publish in good quality journal. And at the end, you cannot be a good researcher, you cannot be a strong researcher, you cannot be a prolific researcher. So addressing novelty, highlighting novelty is extremely important. Okay, and novelty may be sometimes there, but it is not strong, or you have written it in such a way that it is weak. Okay, for example, there are limited work, so it is not strong. Okay, so you need to write in a very stronger way. You need to search some literature. Through that, you identify that some of the works are not done by the other researcher in the literature. So I have identified these 10 gaps. Among them, 3 or 4 of the research gaps I am going to address in this paper. This is how you can address the novelties, and you can convince the reviewers and editors. And sometimes novelties are not identified through literature survey. If you have not done literature survey and you have not identified it through that literature survey, then it is hard to convince editors and reviewers that you have done the critical analysis of the literature review. Sometimes also there is no latest, relevant, and enough references. Since this is an introduction part, you need to put latest, relevant references and enough references. So latest is for last 5 years. So we are 2021. Let's say you put majority of the references from 2015 until 2021. Okay, and they also must be relevant. You ask all this question yourself: are this content relevant or not? Okay, this is very important. If not relevant, reviewers, this is the reason actually the peer review, purpose of peer review, actually they will check whether the contents are relevant or not, because it will go to go through 2 or 3 or 4 experts who are in that field. So they know, for example, if I receive a paper in my specific field on nanomaterials, on solar energy, so I know what are the relevant papers. Okay, I also can sorry dig out, I also can search in the literature that what's the available paper. Then I can see if some of the relevant papers are not cited, not used, then I will highlight that yeah, it is not, papers are not relevant, and some of the relevant papers are not cited, not used. Sometimes maybe not enough references. Okay, sometimes maybe you put all the conference or book chapter. So these are also very important. Must be, majority must be journal references. 80 to 90% should be journal references and peer review. Missing elements of overall paper. So you know that you are working, let's say you have thermal energy performance of nanofield in solar collector. So you know the boundary. So thermal, heat transfer, nanomaterial, so energy. So these are the key things. These are the keywords. So some of the section, probably, for example, thermal or energy or nanomaterials, you did not cover in the introduction. Okay, some of the elements are not covered. So this is again mismatch or missing. No highlight of objectives, or objectives are not clear. Okay, these are very important things. So you are writing a paper, so you have aim, you have purpose. So it should be clearly highlighted. So to determine, to measure, to analyze, okay, to validate. So these are the objectives you need to highlight and must be very, very clear. Sometimes objectives are written, but they are not meaningful. They are not achievable. They are not smart. Okay, so how to write the objectives also, I have that lecture. So please go through all those videos and be familiar, learn how to write objectives in a clear, concise, in a better way. This is one of the major problem I see, the critical review of literature. So what the normally researcher write in the introduction part or in the literature part, that they always try to highlight the good findings, positive findings, strength, but some of the negative things or some of the drawbacks, some of the challenges, some of the limitations should also be highlighted. That is what is called critical review of literature, strength and weaknesses. Okay, you identify strength, good features, good point. At the same time, also identify what's are the lacking, what's are the limitations, what's are the drawbacks. So this is basically called the critical review of literature. In most cases, this is not addressed. No coherency. Sometimes your contents are very messy. What should be first, what should be last? So you need to think sometimes, what should be first, what should be last, so that your contents are well organized, they are coherent. I mean, step-by-step process. Poor language. So you are writing the whole paper. So it's not only introduction. I think for whole paper, I think it is very important. If your language is not good enough, if it cannot be understood by reviewer, editors, and scientific community, basically you cannot sell your idea. They will not read your paper. As a result, it may not be cited. Okay, so the language clarity, because you are going to tell something, some good story, good finding. So if you cannot express that through your poor language, basically you cannot sell your product. So you cannot, I mean, it will not be used. So the language is sometimes, if it is poor, if it is too poor, actually it will be rejected. But they will give you the opportunities that your language need to be proofread by native language speaker or professional proofreader. Okay. Sometimes it is not also structured like abstract. So it should have some background information, aim, purpose, importance, objectives, critical review of literature, objectives, novelty, application. So all this should be in the introduction part, particularly background information, aim, purpose, importance, objectives, critical review of literatures, and highlight of novelties along with the applications. Okay, so then your introduction will be very strong. And also sometimes maybe it is too long, 7 or 8 pages. So it should not be more than 2 pages, single space. If double space, 4 pages. So sometimes maybe there are word limit also. So as concise as possible. So don't write it too long. If too long, again, there will be question. So addressing the originality, I think it is important in the paper also. In my other videos, you can watch. So I'll not spend much time over here because I need to address some other things also. So it can be high, marginal, useful. So when you design accordingly so that your originality is very high. Read literature from all databases, scrutinize more relevant papers, read introduction part, read recommendation, future direction part of the article. This will help you to basically identify the originality and novelty. So you read you go through the video that is in Sabir's YouTube channel. Details are there so that I can minimize today's time. Also, this is fasting month. I cannot talk much also. This is how to address novelty rather than saying there are limited literature, but you see there are 4 points. Through this literature, 20 to 23, 28, 29, there are gaps identified, and then what has been done, what will be done in this paper. So these are the 3 novel points highlighted. This was in our case. So methodology part, again, sometimes there are comments that methodology is not robust, it is not strong, it is faulty. So some of the important parameters, design parameters are missing, meaning that you have not studied literature, methodology part of the literature properly to design your experiment, to come out with the necessary appropriate parameters. The range and each and every details of that methodology part is erroneous, is faulty, is not robust. So that's why you need to study again methodology section. That is again the literature, methodology part of the literature to make your methodology part robust, stronger. Not detailed. Sometimes you have methodology part, but it is too little, too less information. It is not comprehensive. It is not enough to convince the reviewers and editors. That is what I meant by no details. Not linked with the objective. So you have objectives, but it is not linked. So you have 3 objectives, but your method is missing of one of the objectives is not highlighted in the methodology part. So this is again, it is not linked, and some of the methods to achieve some of the objectives are missing. No coherency. As you can see, this slide also available in the YouTube. So you go through them, you watch them. So you need to make the whole methodology part Not only methodology, I think whole paper also you need to make them coherent, to make it systematic and well organized. And poor language, as I mentioned earlier, I think the language is also, if poor, I think there will be comments. Okay, so that's why before submitting first draft, second draft, if language is poor, if you feel that you are not strong enough, so then you can invite some collaborators, those who are good at language, or probably you can pay some fee to proofread your language. As a result, these comments can be eliminated, so that reviewer can make comment that your language is very, very poor. Up to certain level of that can be acceptable level. So result and discussion, I think these are the most important thing where you need to critically analyze and discuss. Sometimes maybe no coherency. Again, I think this coherency is each and everywhere. I think what you should present first, what you should present last. So that's why I think you have objectives, you have methodology. So you present the results step by step, one by one. What should be first, what should be last? You ask yourself. Don't mix methodology with the other parts, because this is result and discussion. Sometimes I see that methodology part is mixed with the result and discussion. So don't mix methodology part with the result and discussion. Otherwise, there will be comments by the editors and reviewers. Again, poor language, I think I have talked much. Poor presentation, sometimes figure is not presented properly, just copy and paste. Color is not good, legend is not good, font is not good. So this is what I mean by presentation. And also how many figures you want to put, how many tables you want to put. Maybe there are so many figures, so many tables. Maybe some are redundant, same figures you presented in tables, in figures. So this is what I mean, poor presentation and redundancy. Poor quality sometimes can be there. No critical discussion and comparison. This is the reason paper will be rejected. If discussion is very, very poor, there is no critical discussion, comparison, validation, reasoning phenomena. This is very important. If this element is missing, definitely your paper is going to be rejected. Okay, so please pay serious attention to submit a paper in good quality journal, so that you are critically analyzed, compared, discussed, validated. You have provided the enough reasoning phenomena. So these are the few points I highlighted here. So again, watch my original paper in the YouTube. So strong analysis, basically you need the reasoning phenomena, highlight of originality, validation, comparison, error and statistical analysis that will make your analysis robust, strong. This is very important aspect also. No contradictory statement, meaning that somewhere a same thing you say that increasing and decreasing. So this is, I think, called the contradictory. So that's why you make first draft, second draft, third draft, and this is how you can avoid this different types of contradictory statement. No redundancy, as I mentioned, same content you put both in tables and figure. You should not have methodology part here. Quality, I think what should be first and what should be last. So that is the coherency. Conclusion, I think sometimes conclusions are very, very weak. You just mention 1 or 2 points. So again, you have the objective. So in line with the objectives, you try to make in the form of a bullet or paragraph as strong as possible. Conclusion is basically the achievement of your objectives and concrete findings. So if you have 4 or 5 findings, so you can put 4 or 5 findings in the form of a paragraph, in the form of a bullet. Don't write too little. Don't also write too much. Okay, so try to make it balanced. So have a look, some good model of the conclusion, how they have written in good quality journal. Okay, so you follow some good model, it will help you to write a good conclusion. Because of conclusion, paper might not be rejected, but there might be some comments that conclusions are not strong. This is weak. Okay, so sometimes due to scope also papers are rejected. So that's why I think this is almost 80 to 90% cases papers are rejected. So you need to pay some additional attention to address this scope. Read the scope of the journal very carefully from the very beginning. Design the paper. Read the paper in such a way that the editors cannot make such comment that your paper is not within the scope of the journal. Because this is the reason almost 80 to 90% cases papers are rejected. Even our paper also rejected. So that's why we try to be cautious. We try to be very careful how to avoid these things. design your project accordingly. So that's why during the design stage, you need to be careful actually in which journal you are targeting, okay? So that, contents are designed according to that journal, scope of that journal. Address novelty as well. I think that is also very important. Keep alternative list of journal. I think this is only one of the best approach actually. There is no single recipe. There is no shortcut way. There is no magic to solve this problem. Only one of the best way is that you need to put number of journal in your pocket, in your basket. So this is our practice. Since I'm experienced and I also know how to find alternative list of journals through Scopas, ISI Web of Science, through our collaborators, through discussion with other members. So in our case, we know the answer. So that's why I think the role of collaboration is also very important to solve some of the problems in case of you are facing difficulties to address the scope. Read few relevant and recent papers on your topics. This also will help you. And in the cover letter, also try to highlight how your paper is relevant or within the scope of the journal. Some of the content, maybe you mentioned that this is, this content A, B, and C is completely relevant with this paper. And there are some, we saw that there are 20 papers, relevant papers published in this journal. And also cite some of the relevant papers in your paper. That's also another way of supporting that it is within the scope. But editors also very smart. They will say that, yeah, this is only minorly addressed, some aspect, not completely. So be careful also, even though papers are cited, but it may not fully address. So always try to be professional and try to make it as strong as possible, particularly in the analysis section, how the analysis part is relevant with the paper you cited and with the content you have compare with your paper and the scope of that journal. So as I mentioned, that sometimes papers are rejected many times. So in that case, you need the alternative list of the journals. I think that's what I mentioned. So that's why you also need the collaboration. Better be very careful with the scope, design the project with the targeting specific journal with strong novelty. So these are, you see, this is the some of the ways, and this is some of the ways. This probably can help you up to certain level. It cannot help you 100%, but up to certain level, this can help you to avoid this issue. I hope. These are some of the additional practice, my experience I'm going to share with you. 3 practices today I'm going to share with you because it happens by reviewers and particularly by the reviewers. So unethical practice by reviewers. So what do they do? As you know, sometimes they ask to cite their own paper. How do we know that it is their own paper? You know that when they ask to cite some papers, when there are similar paper, you see that you'll see that it's common name there. Let's say they ask 10 paper to cite, and this is very contagious area, and this is also unethical. So that's why we know there might be the reason that they are trying to cite their own paper to raise their citation, to inflate their CB, to increase their H index and so on. This is unprofessional, unethical way. So you can check, actually there will be some common name. Let's say they ask to cite 10 papers, and then you can see there are say the one of the author's name is common, meaning that it is their own papers, and that is he's one of the reviewer. This is how we spot and we detect. So we found that in our case, sometimes they ask this to cite their paper, and since I'm experienced, I know this is unethical practice, and I'm also a senior person, and I don't allow this to be happen. So, but how to address these things professionally? So, what we do in some cases, I directly write to the editor-in-chief that, hello, editor-in-chief, these are the unethical things, these are the unprofessional things, and this is the reviewer asked to cite their paper. So I suspect that this is his own paper, okay? And this is unprofessional according to your journal guideline. A reviewer or their associate, a reviewer his own paper or their associates. Associate meaning their friends, maybe sometimes they also entice their friends. Can you ask to cite my paper? So this is some of the things are written in their guideline, author's guideline. The reviewer own paper or their associates paper cannot be cited. These are unethical things. However, if those are relevant, maybe can be cited. So this is professional or legal. This is how they want to legalize. So that's why the editor sometimes give the answer that, yeah, you address these comments. If there are relevant papers, you try to cite them. If not relevant, you put the rebuttal or you put the responses that these papers are not relevant. This is how I instruct my students. I instruct my students, okay, there are 10 papers that the reviewer asked to cite. Then I ask my students, my collaborators, you read all the paper and you tell that this paper is not relevant at all with the paper. So that's why we did not cite. Second paper, yes, it is relevant. Yes, we have cited. This is the way we highlight, and at the end, reviewer cannot reject, because there is a chances if you don't address it professionally, the reviewer again will find some other ways to reject our paper. And since we highlight these issues in the cover letter and also to the editor, and now it is editor already knows, because of this, paper will not be rejected, and that's the assurance guarantee we got from the editor when we write this special letter to the editor. Editor, in most cases, they give the assurance and guarantee that your paper will not be rejected due to this citation. Okay, but however, you address it professionally. If this is a valid point, you address. If not, but your paper definitely will not be rejected due to this issue. And in some cases, editor also assures us that we will check, verify, investigate, and necessary action will be taken, meaning that they will be barred, they will be banned from reviewing the papers next time. Okay, so these are the practice. These are sometimes happen. So rather than just simply citing their paper, you try to be professionally address which are relevant and which are not relevant, and try to bring that to the attention of the editor. Okay, you write a separate letter, or you write separately that these are the paper we suspect that these are the papers belongs to the reviewer. So these are the unethical things. Yeah, please advise us what should we do. Okay, so if you go this way, and also if you feel hesitant, I think you invite your senior people, your professor, your collaborator. This is actually the rule of sometimes. That's why sometimes this need to be handled by the senior people. So these types of issues basically is handled by me, because I'm the senior person, I'm the experienced person, even though other authors submitted, but I directly write to the editor-in-chief with my affiliation address that this is my thing, I'm also experienced, I have supervised, these are the things. And we make the strong letter, and as a result, in most cases, we become successful. Okay, so this is how we need to avoid the unethical practice. Okay, so these are the things also I post in LinkedIn and Facebook. This is another things. Okay, so two of our papers basically rejected. It was not professionally. Two of our papers were rejected by the reviewers. One of them was rejected even after addressing reviewer comments. We felt that evaluation was unfair, and we wrote strong justification letter to the editor-in-chief addressing the comments made by the reviewers. They said this paper is very complicated. Yes, this is a very wrong comment, because without a complication, how it will be a robust paper, original paper, very good quality paper. Okay, so this reviewer comments is wrong, and we have addressed each and every point, and he could not make what is actually the meaning of complication. Okay, so we wrote it, and then editor-in-chief checked, verified, and found that there were mistake by the section editor, and immediately they replied that yes, we made some mistake, and your paper is going to be accepted soon. Immediately. Sometimes maybe this is some mistake, so that's why when you have suspicion, when you feel that something wrong has gone, you directly can write to the editor-in-chief. In most cases, they entertain, but however, sometimes they also don't reply. So that's why I think you need to engage senior people, experienced people. But in most cases, I become successful. Recently also, there were some problem with some of our papers, and one of the author actually, he manipulated. He wrote it in such a way so that, it's something like that in his paper. So he wrote it, and he was somehow, his comment was taken, and my comments were not taken correctly. But it was by the assistant editor, not editor-in-chief. So I realized that this guy made some trick. So I directly write to the editor-in-chief. And finally, when I wrote each and every details, and editor-in-chief gave me the decision in my favor. So this is how we address these types of unethical things. I'm going to address also, just happened today, that I posted some of my recent achievement to motivate young researcher, my citation trend, by H index, all those things. So some of the people made some remarks, those which are not professionally written, meaning that try to highlight that I only publish review paper. So that is the wrong comments. And as a result, somebody also wrote that I don't have, meaning that my works are not novel. So for last 2 hours after the sahur, I spent 2 hours to address these comments through Scopus, how many papers I have, original paper, how many paper I have, review papers. I made very strong cases, okay, with strong justification, with strong evidences that they are wrong. All of their comments are wrong. Basically, they are the junior people, they just maybe wrote it whimsically without thinking professionally. It was all erroneous message. As a result, many other people also commented wrong things they have done. They should also be careful. And I made, the 2 hours time to make it, very impressive defense and responses. And at the end, one of the guy wrote to me that if I made, I'm sorry if it is misinterpreted, and I take back my comments. Okay, so this is a good sign that he realized that his comments are wrong. Okay, he wrote them. The other guy, basically, when he realized all those things, they taken away each and everything. They basically delete each and everything within 2 hours. So you see that this is how we address these unprofessional things, wrong things in a professional way. And I have written all the things in a very professional way. I did not attack anybody. I did not pinpoint any personal things. I just wrote with strong evidences, that this is how my original paper, Q1 paper, top 10% paper, with strong analysis, with the evidences. As a result, immediately they remove all of their mistakes, all of their wrong comments. Okay, so this is how we need to address the comments, not only this paper, for your other works also. As long as you address the things professionally, I think in that case, you always will be successful. I also faced some difficulties, some of the papers we published earlier, to deal with the editors and so on. And a few years back, I think 4 or 5 years back, my response were so strong. Editor gave me a comment that your responses were so strong, so complicated, so impressive. So decision was in my favor. Alhamdulillah. So these are the things basically I share. And this is, I think, a lot of learning platform you need to learn also. So Sabir is doing a great job. So you watch his all the activities. I think this is also part of our activities. A lot of activities are going on, and there are other platforms also. This is to improve your knowledge. So you always go and listen all this platform and improve your knowledge. These are our lab facilities for collaboration purposes. Those who are interested, we welcome collaboration. We also have a PhD program in sustainability, science and technology. It is very interesting program. Those who are interested to pursue in PhD in sustainability, science and technology, we also have some funding. And those who are not eligible for funding, if you invest, I think this will be very, very good investment. I tell you one very nice story. Just one of my PhD students successfully completed his PhD for last 2 weeks with good quality paper, good number of papers, and he was basically the pioneer in magazine synthesis. Immediately after finishing his PhD, he got 4 offers. Even some of the management people directly called him to convince him to be with them, to be recruited with them. Even during this pandemic situation, he got offer, 4 offers. Can you imagine what made these things? He was in very difficult situation. He did not have funding, but somehow I also helped him some other ways, financially, and also, I gave him the best training, and he was the best student. He worked very hard, and he made his PhD so strong, and immediately he got 4 offers. And today he left Malaysia to join in a very good position. So soon he will be joining in a very good position. He got an impressive offer, so he'll be joining there. So what I want to say, if you spend also, if you also invest in your education, and as a result, you get a good training and you become a good researcher, job will hunt for you. You don't need to hunt for the job. So when I did, when I finished my master's, I managed to publish good quality paper, and I was invited by the dean to join, even without having a PhD at that time in 2002. And when I, I got a lot of award in 2014. Again, I have 4 or 5 offer. People came and invited me to join. The people from Saudi Arabia, the flight from Saudi Arabia stayed in a hotel in Malaysia and invited me to chit chat with them so that I can join with them. So, what I want to say that, see, when you will invest in your education, when you will be a prolific researcher, good researcher, basically job will hunt for you. This is the real example. This is pandemic situation. People are not getting job. Whereas he got 4 offers. Can you imagine what made this possible? Because of his capability, because of his hard work, and also he invests. So this is, I also strongly suggest those who has capability to invest in your education. We have opportunities. We have impressive lab. We are also quite strong in research publication. We can help you to be a good researcher, and as a result, once you finish, definitely you will find a job like one of my students recently got the 4 offer, as I mentioned. Okay, so you will find our lecture notes in the YouTube, so on. So I'm active in LinkedIn, Facebook, Google Scholar. So these are, again, you can find some of the post time to time we post, as I mentioned, also some of the feedback. Unfortunately, they remove all the things. Otherwise, you could see how impressively I have addressed all those comments. But you will find some of the other things in the LinkedIn, Facebook. So always be there. So latest, all the relevant things, research related things. Some of the things, sometimes lack of time, we cannot talk, but I put there. So it always good. You can be there. But one problem is that my limit is 5,000. It's already finished. So time to time I need to clean. So that's why I think you can follow me on the page. I think page has no limitation, but normally page is not that much attractive. So you have to bear with some of the challenges. Okay, so this is my email address. So you can find me over through this email. Now I will be showing how to address the reviewer comments. So I will stop this slide and I will load another slide. Okay. Samannay, everything okay?
Yeah, so everything is fine.
Okay, so I'll provide now the example how to address. This is how to address the reviewer comments. This is the second part. Can you see the screen?
No, unfortunately. Yeah, we can.
Can you read what is in the screen? Just first line.
Yeah, we can. It's the title of based on.
Okay. So this is basically how to address reviewer comments. So this is a real example, because examples are always preferable, and this is the real things, right? So this is one of our paper published in this solar energy materials and solar cell. This is one of the best journal in our area, top journal, Q1. Okay, so we submitted this, as you can see here. This is also the cover letter. Very briefly, we wrote that this is the title, this is the journal name. Sometimes maybe the reference, paper reference also we should put it here. So we just wrote some brief introduction there. We have addressed all the necessary comments made by the reviewers. Okay, so we took it seriously. We addressed all the comments as much as possible. Okay, so before going into addressing the comments, actually the reviewer comments are, there are major comments, there are minor comments, there are language comments, as you have seen in my previous slides. What might be the comments? Okay, it can be language, it can be coherency, it can be title, and many other things. So some comments basically can be minor, some can be challenging, and some can be very serious. So in my view, in our case, what we practice, we analyze which comments are very strong, which may take long time, which may take our further analysis, experimental work, or need to study literature, need more time. So all those things we take it very seriously, because all those points, if we not address seriously, paper again will be rejected. So that's why the strong point, serious point, challenging points, we also take it very seriously. We talk and discuss with each and everyone, and I give them guideline how to address. Okay, if needed further experiment, we conduct the experiment. If we need to critically analyze the literature, we analyze the literature. And we make very strong cases. We don't write simply 1 or 2 sentences. We make it very, very strong cases, as you can see here. So you always give special emphasis, special focus, special write-up on the challenging comments. Don't take them lightly. Any comments, if you take it lightly, address lightly, reviewer will have the opportunities to reject the paper. This is the cases. In some cases, our paper are rejected because we took it lightly. We did not pay the serious attention. As a result, they will reject the paper. So this is the reason also paper is rejected, because the reviewers are not happy. Sometimes they are not happy. So that's why you need to be very serious. So now you see the reviewer 3. Okay, so maybe 1 and 2 did not make any comments, or maybe decline. So that's why this reviewer 3 made some comments, general comments. Author used magazine with the silicon oil to improve. This is general comments. This you don't need to address, just some general comments. Thermal properties or class of investigated. There are still some problem need to be addressed. Okay, what are the problems? Reviewer comments 1. So they will make many comments. So we made the reviewer comments number 1, and also address by reviewer wise. Okay, so you are addressing now reviewer number 3. For him, reviewer comments number 1. There will be comments number 1, comments number 2, comments number 3. So what is the comment of reviewer? This one, right? And then author's response. Okay, so this is you highlighted. What was the comment? What is the size of the magazine flag? So he made a comments, right? Will they precipitate in the solution? The stability of the solution need to be verified. He made 3 questions. This is also another problem. Normally, when we address, some of our students address only 1 question. This part, other part sometimes they don't address. This is where I am, as a senior person, I check each and everything, whether my team member address all the points or partially. Let's say they have addressed only 1 point, other point not addressed, then I will ask them, you have not addressed that other 2 points. And also if it is not impressive, I will ask them. So this is again the rule of seniority, rule of the senior person, rule of the experienced people and supervisor. Okay, so basically there are 3 comments. So if you are smart, you will address all the 3 points one by one. So as you can see, how the authors are highly appreciated. So sometimes you appreciate, you give him thank that you made some constructive comments. So we thank you. The particle size, you see they made size, right? We answer the particle size of the S synthesis magazine flag is given. Answer, appropriate answer is given here. Okay, and with the references, because this has been published, so that's why you put the references. In these references you can find this okay, this size, micron size. Okay, this is answer. Then will they precipitate in the solution? Associated statement added in the section. So this section are added also be very specific where you have added these points in the section 3.6 and line number. Otherwise it will be very hard for the reviewer to identify. Don't make the work of the reviewer very challenging, very hard. Make the work very, very easy, because they are the busy people. If you make your work very hard for them, basically paper will be rejected. So that's why you make which sentence, which line, which section you have addressed. Then it will be easier for him. And maybe sometimes they will not go and check. They will trust you. Okay. So this is how to address the reviewer comments. Okay, using 4 different solvents, considering of this. Okay, and so on. Highly stable. Okay, so they mentioned the precipitation. So we found highly stable nanofluids. Answer given. Okay, and finally there are some other things also and explained in figure number 1. Visual inspection also clarified. So this is how we define the stability. Okay, so that's they ask the stability. So all the questions are answered. All 3 elements of these questions are answered with appropriate answer. As you can see, we put the references also. So now there are comments number 2 by the same reviewer. Okay, this is the comments. Okay, and then we made the responses. Okay, so this is, you see, it is not one-liner response. We provide the details of the figures, which equation number, what are the references, what's the page number, each and every details. You see, this is quite comprehensive. You see, 2 sentences, 2 paragraphs. Okay, so as a result, this will impress. So similarly, there are comments number 3, and this is very minor. You see, we have addressed in a minor way. Okay. So this is how to address. So I'm not going each and every detail. So this is how to address the reviewer comments. Okay, so we have addressed, but still reviewer also gave some additional comments and it came again. So we addressed in the second review also, and finally it was accepted. Alhamdulillah. So this is how to address the reviewer comments professionally, ethically, correctly, and successfully, so that at the end you can become successful. So I think, yeah, that's all. So almost 1 hour I have talked. Okay, yeah, so that's all about my presentation on how to avoid rejection, how to address reviewer comments so that it can be critically addressed, and finally you will get that letter of acceptance. Okay, now let's answer some questions, few questions maybe, because first month I become a little bit tired. I cannot drink water also. My throat is a little bit thirsty. So maybe, yeah, few questions. Yeah, please.
So, sir, there is a question asked by a participant that if I got rejected from a journal without showing reasons, should I then directly contact with the editor-in-chief?
Okay, yeah, I got the point. Yeah, I got the point. Okay. Yeah, this happens, normally science, nature, sometimes they reject the paper, they don't give any comments. Normally, I don't like it because purpose of review is to get some feedback. Even the paper is rejected, if there are constructive comments, actually we can improve. And that basically will help us to improve it further. I like that, even the paper is rejected. But if paper is rejected without giving any comments, I feel very unhappy. But we also have to understand that because, they are also human beings. Sometimes they are also busy people, to avoid their a lot of spending time. They don't give comments. In that case, we have to accept. But it is always, you can do in both ways. You can write it directly to the editor. May we know what is the reason? You can directly write, okay? And maybe editor will give some additional reason. Okay, then it is good that at least you got some reason why the paper is rejected. Okay, if still editor maybe in some cases can ask, okay, you address these comments, you submit. Sometimes resubmission also allowed after addressing the comments. This is welcome. This is good. But if editor does not reply, if they don't entertain, I think it is always better you try to submit somewhere else. This is the reason, as I mentioned, you have to have alternative list of journals. Once rejected, you submit somewhere else. You can directly write to the editor-in-chief, or you can submit somewhere else. In either way. So yeah, this is only the possible answer. Sometimes maybe editor will reply, sometimes may not be. So if you see that if editor does not reply, after waiting 1 week, maybe you submit somewhere else.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. So I think the session has been pretty long. And thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time, and thanks all the participants for your patience and participations. And lastly, if you are not subscribed to it, and if you enjoy this video, consider joining the channel and leave a like. And
yeah, Robert,
yes, sir.
There are some questions. Let me answer a few more questions. Okay, so I think this is.
Okay, yeah, you can.
Yeah, I am writing a paper as a beginner. I'm afraid getting rejection seeing this criteria. Okay, yeah, I understand, because this is the presentation is, the top class journal. If you want to publish in Q1 journal, like my standard, this is my standard. But you always can start something like a conference paper, seminar paper, Q3, Q4 paper. In that case, maybe, for learning purpose, for training purpose, it should be okay. And also, you never give up. So this is the learning process. Sometimes, it's not that high quality paper, but it is accepted in Q1 journal. Sometimes there is a luck, sometimes there is a fortune also. So that's why I say never give up, keep on trying. Sometimes paper is rejected, very high quality paper, I feel this is the top paper, but it is rejected in each and everywhere. But it is a substandard paper, it is not that high quality, but we managed to publish in good quality journal. So that's why you need to bear patience. And as a beginner or a new researcher, I think if you are afraid, maybe you can start with a conference paper, seminar paper, which are not that strong. Normally, conferences are okay. You can publish quite easily. It will not be that strong. Okay, so what I presented here, it is very, after publishing 400, 500, 600 paper, this is my standard. So that's why for your case, probably. So your case, I think you start with something like a conference paper. Okay, hope that answers your question. Okay, yeah, I can take few more, 3 more questions.
So there is a question. If a researcher
Okay, so
fails,
it is our Naim Riaz, okay? I think our campus ambassador. If you can, I think working independently is preferable, but are you enough experienced? If you are enough experienced and if you feel that professor actually is not helpful at all, there are people, sometimes they don't do anything at all. So why you need to go and bother him? Why you need his help? No need. So if someone is a professor or any colleague or collaborators really can improve it further, yes, you have to go. And if you are strong, if you are confident, and rather they will kill you time, yes, you go ahead. Should be okay. And if you can train yourself also, should be fine. So it's up to you. If you feel that your level, you see that I have given you some guideline here. These are the benchmark. These are the checklists. So if you feel that these are the strong enough, you don't need to go through professor. But as you should understand that if you are working under a supervisor, and if you don't consult with him, without his consultation, if you are going to publish and later on there is an issue, because he's a supervisor, maybe he has some contribution, he will write to the editor, he will write to the ethical body, and you will be in trouble. So you have to be careful with all those things. So either he has really contributed contribution or not. You have to check the ethical matter also before doing all these things. So sometimes don't try to be over smart. Try to see the ethical matter as well. Whether he is eligible to be author, co-author, or he will make a complaint, he will make a noise because you are a junior guy. So he can report it to the head of the department somewhere else. So you will be in trouble. So you are junior, so you might be in trouble. So you be careful. Okay. So Shahriar is, yes, he's our another campus ambassador, our good friend, and I can see he has good experience also. We are working also in some collaboration. Okay, can I see his comments? I did not see his comments. Shahriar made some comment, right? Okay. Okay, so he made comments. Okay, yeah, thank you. Next comment. Okay, so, okay, this is also comment. Okay, thank you. Okay, next one. Okay, Sabir, okay, thank you for your great effort also. I really admire you, not because of my friend, but because of you are doing something great job for the undergraduate people, undergraduate students, something unique, some basic things probably which I don't address. So I really admire, appreciate your effort. Particularly, many people are benefited. I think we have common goal, aim, purpose. So that's why I'm also working with you. So hopefully, with the collective effort, with your effort, my effort, with the campus ambassador, we can help many of our young researchers, young generation, so that they can be a better researcher. Like one of my PhD student, as I mentioned, the Navid PhD student who recently finished, and he got an impressive offer. So we want some of you like that, and many of my PhD students, Bangladeshi students, also completed, and now they are in Australia, Canada. So in this case, actually, I feel very much happy, proud. These are our achievements, so if we can do some great work for some of you, like young generation, can be dean of an university and in a faculty, can work somewhere in Intl or in Australia, in Canada, can develop some product. I think we'll be much more happy as a successful academician and researcher. This will make us happy, because this we consider as a success factor for us. Okay, so if there are any burning question, maybe one last question, if there is any burning question.
There is a question, I think. If a researcher if a researcher failed to got exception but It may be unique. Can we call him a researcher? I actually didn't get it. Amit Lal Dash. Can anyone?
Can you display
Yeah,
the
yeah,
question?
yeah. Please go ahead.
This one, this is the question.
Yeah,
Amit
this
Lal
is.
Dash.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me digest his question. Okay. Yeah, failed negative exception may be unique. As I mentioned, it may not be accepted in journal A, B, C, and D, but definitely, as you see, my 600 papers or 700 papers is rejected 7 times, 8 times, but it's accepted in 9th time. So it will be accepted. I can assure that it will be accepted somewhere. Okay, and then yes, it is accepted, but it's rejected, meaning that you are not a researcher because you have done something. It takes some time. Maybe it's not that high level, it's not that up to that level, but still you are a researcher. And again, the level of researcher, you know, that you are young researcher, you have 1 paper, you have 2 paper, someone like in researcher in MIT, someone in Stanford, someone in like in Prague University. So I still will call you a researcher. Okay, as long as prepare the paper, the elements are there. Maybe you are not up to that level, higher level here. So to me, I think you are still a researcher. Yes, you can be called a researcher. And as I mentioned, never give up and keep on trying. And you will publish in a conference paper, in conference, okay, 2 or 3 papers, conference paper, and maybe in seminar. Okay? Even you are not published, but you can explain in conference. You can explain in front of people. You are good at explaining. I still will consider that you are a researcher. Okay, because you are still junior. Okay, yeah, I think, yeah. With that, we want to conclude. Yeah, but okay, yeah, Samannay, yeah, you can conclude.
So thank you so much, sir, for your time, and thanks all the participants for your patience and participations. And please hit the subscribe button to stay connected. And that's all for today's content. I was your host today, Muntasin Billah. Akun wali hada. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.